Hey, welcome to ZooBricks. Today is a super exciting day because I'm going to be actually expanding on the zoo today. So we're going to be putting a whole bunch more base plates around the back of the hill there. I got a whole bunch of base plates in the Black Friday sale off of Amazon. Like I said in one of my previous videos, this is the only non-Lego that I use, which is the Strictly Bricks base plates. And I think they came in at just like £1.50, £1.60 each during the Black Friday sale. So I got a whole bunch. I've got enough to make something like 30 base plates up. So almost be able to double the size of the plot that I've got now. Don't get me wrong, this amount of base plates still isn't overly cheap. It's still over £100 worth there of base plates. But when you're building a project like this, which is going to span this entire table, you know, it really starts to add up, especially if you're using the Lego base plates. And in one of my previous videos, I did a little comparison between these Strictly Bricks base plates and the Lego ones. And one of the main things is that you can actually kind of build and stick the base plate on top of the other ones, which Lego products can't do. So I've spent a few hours sorting out a whole bunch of random filler brick to make these Mills plates. I'm not making every single one exact. All it needs to be is structurally sound, because obviously the reason why I'm doing this is so that it can be moved and put on display in the actual zoo. So I want all of these base plates to be really, really sturdy. So when it comes to moving day, they're not going to fall apart. And I'm not going to connect them together. I did start out over there connecting them together with little connectors in the corners. I don't know if there's any here that you can see, but it became a real nightmare when you're actually trying to move things around and actually disconnect them, and you end up breaking things more than anything. So they're all just kind of nicely slid together. So here, this is going to be the road choice. So when drivers come in, they can choose to go left and go into the safari drive, which I haven't decided if the safari drive is going to go left and go around, and then it's going to have to come back on itself into here. So if the loop's going to go that way, or if the loop's going to go that way, but either way, it's got to come back around this way and actually feed back into there, because if it feeds back into here, then they're technically on the outside of the zoo again. So they're going to have to come back around there somehow. So this bit here is going to be a road. So I need to get some more road tiles. And then once the cars go through the double gate system to get into the safari park, then the road will change to like a dark tan, which is quite a rare color. So we'll see how that goes. But the bit where I'm going to be putting all these base plates today is around here. And the reason why I'm doing it is because it's quite tricky to imagine building an enclosure here. So if I've got a nice blank kind of green canvas, I can just start placing bricks around, playing with it, seeing what it looks like, placing paths. Whereas if I build one base plate at a time, it's kind of giving me a bit of a headache. Hence why I'm just going to do a massive green area. So I got quite a bit done the other day with expanding the actual footprint of the zoo, adding 19 base plates. And these are 10-inch base plates, so they're the 32 by 32s rather than the big ones. But yeah, so now I can kind of get a sense of where the entrance of the zoo is kind of going to be and where I can start laying out enclosures. I've got the gift shop kind of floating around there, playing around with ideas for that, because I think it would be cool to have like a bit of a square here where, you know, there's the gift shop and maybe it's like a couple of other buildings, maybe it's like a food outlet and stuff like that, kind of near the entrance and the exit. Toilets would be a good idea as well, because there's no toilets in here. So I can kind of build that in there and maybe start off the first enclosure there, and even have maybe an enclosure coming down here too. I can fit another 2 base plates along here and move that stuff out the way. So there's probably enough room for a little bit of a route down here too. So there's a lot of ideas, a lot of opportunity. When you've got a blank canvas like this, it's really hard to try and visualize. Hence why I've put all the base plates down, so I can actually start putting pieces on the base plates and seeing what it looks like, and playing around with it a little bit. I also built some trees here, which are kind of what you'll be greeted with when you come through the entrance. So they're nothing spectacular, but they really make a difference having any kind of planting in. And I also built a couple of more retaining hedges to stop members of the public wandering off into the safari park, and this little stone wall thing, which I was just messing about with. It's not very tall, but to a minifigure, it's pretty tall. Let's take this guy. So it's a pretty decent sized wall, and he likes it. I've been to the Lego store and I made a couple of purchases, and some of you might be able to guess already what I'm going to do, but I have got the botanical gardens. Now, Friends is not a theme that I'm massively a fan of, because it's just a little bit too girly for me. But I have actually got 2 of them, and on Rebrickable you can actually get some really cool kind of double-sized botanical gardens made, and even like triple-sized botanical gardens. So I want to make something that's a little bit more special, because you can't really tell from this photo, but it's completely open at the back, so that dome's only halfway. It only goes halfway around, and there's not a wing on the other side, it just kind of ends. So by putting them together, you can actually make like a full-on building. You can make ones that are like double-story that people have designed, or you can make ones that are kind of really long and have a bit of a front porch. So I'm just having a look at a few different designs to see what I fancy doing, but it would make it perfect. Obviously, they've got some butterflies in here, and it's a botanical garden, so it's mainly about plants. But I would really like to make it either a butterfly house, which would be cool, or parrots, or some type of small birds. I think it would be really nice. And that's a nice building that can go over next to the entrance there, next to where the gift shop is. So I've got 2 of them. And of course, when we bought them, we also got some GWPs, which are quite cool. The wintertime carriage ride, which is very pretty. Because the idea with the zoo is that throughout the year I want to theme it depending on what season it is. So it's really nice to have things like this in stock, so that when it comes Christmas time next year, we can actually lay it all out and make it look all Christmassy, which would be cool. And then some giant baubles, which I've heard are really heavy, so they might not actually hang on the tree very well, but they still look pretty cool. So add it to the collection. But yeah, can't wait to get started with them. That's my update for today. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and if you haven't done already, please do remember to subscribe to the ZooBricks channel and join me on my journey as I create the world's largest Lego zoo, and I'll see you soon.